The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2025 winter edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. In every episode, we dive into captivating conversations with Syracuse's movers and shakers, like business owners, top executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and a bunch more. Brace yourself for jaw-dropping business insights and success stories. You're going to hear remarkable business stories and see what fuels their loyalty to Central New York and get the inside scoop on the big ideas driving their futures. We're shining a light on the business visionaries turning Syracuse into the ultimate hub for work, life, and endless opportunities. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement. And you can see us on YouTube. Just look up Zoe Advertising. Say a hearty, healthy good morning to Steve Roberts.
Hearty, healthy, Tom.
Yeah.
Hardy. I'm hardy.
Are you?
I'm hardy. You know, I'm hardy. I was determined I was going to, start the diet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There always seems to be an exception. It's somebody, we're going to a party. Somebody made something. There's always like a reason not to.
Yeah.
Right. So my wife goes, you know what? Don't write down things you eat. Write down things you said no to. I went, well, that's an interesting idea. So I actually started to do that.
Right.
And realized how many things I say yes to.
With a small goal, like you're not going to have anything with sugar. Yeah, you can start like that.
That's a pretty big goal.
Nah. You just don't eat sugary stuff. Eat your proteins.
Yeah.
And stuff
For me, it's don't eat after 7 at night, because that's when I get all like, ooh, hey, look. So
right.
So you can, YouTube listeners can see I'm wasting away to nothing, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thin Lizzie over there. Right now, we say good morning to Joe Stanley. How are you there, Joe?
I'm great. Good morning.
Good morning. Joe knows.
Here's a guy that doesn't have to go on a diet. He's trim. He's fit.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there's me.
That's not true. No. I
gotta watch what you eat.
My problem is that cookies. I'd have a diet of cookies. I wouldn't eat anything else. I probably wouldn't be that healthy.
Yeah.
So when I don't eat cookies, I stay within my magical weight. And then I go off the wagon, it's like being addicted to anything.
So you like Girl Scout cookies, Joe? Are they
I just ate a box. I just ate a box. But they're not.
They're tiny boxes.
Yeah, but they're not like they used to be, but still a box is too much. But, what happens is, you start.
Right,
Joe,
right.
Your last name is Stanley. Is that your real last name?
Well,
I just started thinking
I
about
was
it.
born with that name. So, yes, that is my real last name. What was changed, my grandfather was changed when he came in at Ellis Island. I think it was Stannis, and they just changed it because when you came over, he was Lithuanian when you came. They changed it to whatever they wanted.
Did people used to call you Stanley? Like, think that was your first name? Hey, Stanley.
Of
Did you get your Stan?
People have always done that. Yeah. That's always been an issue when you have a first name.
Right. That's a last name.
So,
Now, we've had a rash of bad weather. Do you see your business go up during the bad weather? I know you probably don't wish for it, but
it's
it
clearly, I mean, we track all of our business, and last year was a mild winter, so the number of car accidents and the number of falls go down.
Interesting.
So yes, but that's just a normal thing you see. And the worse the weather is, the more times people are going to get involved in accidents, particularly how bad the weather can be around here. Especially over the last few years, I think people have forgotten how to drive in the snow, if they ever did. So it even causes more issues. And same with walking. I think that people forget, A, how to walk in the snow, and B, how to take care of your sidewalks and your driveways. I was just down in Philadelphia, in the area down there, and they had some snow, but it's amazing how they take care of every sidewalk. And these are people, they're salt and everything, every place. You would think it would be the opposite. They have everything taken care of.
That's
and one
nice.
of the reasons is the law in Pennsylvania is far stricter on keeping your property safe than it is in New York.
So easier to sue people, a business then?
Yeah,
Or
because
a person.
you have an
Resident.
obligation to keep your sidewalks safe.
Gotcha.
Tom, remind me after the set to go throw some salt outside.
Well, there isn't any out there. There isn't any out there.
Just remind me to do that.
And people, I don't think you get a lot of people who don't wear the right foot apparel. They'll throw on their sneakers or something like that when it's
That's
snowing.
shoeing more in the summertime than the winter. It's harder. It's difficult. It's hard to navigate because of the weather we have here.
Right.
And then part of the real issue is if you don't attend to it and it gets walked over and driven over, it becomes an uncontrollable mess. And it's really very dangerous.
So do you, what advice would you have, I should say, to residents and to companies?
Well, as I was telling you guys earlier, you keep your property safe because you and your family or you and your customers and your employees are the ones who are going most likely to be hurt. You shouldn't worry about a random lawsuit. You should worry about your employees or your family, because if you fall and break your arm or your leg, or your children do, or your Aunt Elma does, or your employees fall and they have a workers' compensation claim, that is not good. And being safe and being proactive is far better than reacting.
Yeah.
So common sense stuff to some extent, right?
We all know, by the way, we all know if our sidewalks are dangerous, whether they're icy or there's potholes, or we all know where the issues are. The question is, do we do anything about it?
Right. So more car accidents this time of year, I imagine, or is that not true? Is it
There's definitely more car accidents. There's a lot of single car accidents, people going off the road. There's a lot of crossover accidents. There's just a lot of people go too fast. They don't know how to drive. Last week I saw somebody right up the road on Genesee Street. By National Grid, and I don't even know how the car got to where it was. It was perpendicular on the sidewalk, had taken out two cars.
Oh my goodness.
Two parked cars. You know where that section is?
I know right where.
How did they go that fast?
There you go. Right.
I mean, there's two lights within a block.
Right.
But anyways, he was perpendicular. I don't even know. People do amaze. I do know because of. Over the years, I've thousands of cases. I've never ceased to be amazed by how poorly people can perform behind the wheel.
So go ahead, Tom.
No, I was going to ask you, is it that if somebody causes their own accident, they really don't have a need to call you? But if somebody hits them from behind, and
the one car accidents usually have somebody in the car, or you're responsible for everybody else in the car. You go off the road in the ditch, or hit a tree, or roll over, and so so there's all sorts of scenarios, and one of the big scenarios in which we were just talking about in my office yesterday is property damage coverage. Cars are so expensive, and people don't understand that the limits they might have on their car insurance do not cover the property damage to the other cars you hit, to the guide rails you hit. Say, for instance, if you hit a guide rail or a telephone pole or anything, you're legally responsible for those when you go off the road.
Wow.
And you hit a $150,000 car, and you only have $50,000 worth of damage for liability, for property damage coverage. You're in your own for $100,000.
So Joe Stanley, 800-608, a whole bunch of threes, 3333. Stanley Law Offices. If you got a question or you want to have a conversation, Joe knows. Do you know? Joe knows, right?
I hope so.
Okay. All right. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Joe.